Hello, guys. It's Old Man G here, back again with a post-match reaction. And it is what it says. Manchester United won, Liverpool won. We didn't lose. That's the topic of this. Now I'm gonna be first honest. I didn't watch the full game, perfectly honest, because I was busy at work. I was just catching up clips and an audio and stuff. So I don't know the specific details, so if people want to help me, let's find the comments. But the gist of it, from what I've got, is that Liverpool, to be honest, weren't that great. Manchester United, we essentially held out 1-0 up until 85 minutes. We were fairly okay in the first half, and then seemed to resort to Mourinho type tactics in the second half, and basically just drop deep. Really, United, how you doing? Hiya, mates. How do you find the game? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, it looks as if that we essentially just we held out, and because of defensive error-prone players, in a sense of Rojo and Ashley Young, we dropped 2 points. CO time, I told you it's going to be a draw. I predicted it was going to be a draw as well, to be honest. I didn't think Manchester United were going to win this game, but I also didn't think Liverpool were going to win this game either. Memphis Mitchell says, I fucking hate it when we switch tack first half. We were playing good, we were attacking, but second half, switched to park the ring and bus. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a bit later, with Ollie being sort of Mourinho in disguise type of tactic. But I want to quickly just delve into the fact, or focus on the fact that a lot of Liverpool fans, a lot of pundits, a lot of people were saying at the start of this game that this was going to be a walkover for Liverpool FC. And only a few people, myself included, actually genuinely said that Liverpool were going to find it difficult to win at Old Trafford psychologically. When was the last time that Liverpool actually came and won at Old Trafford? And I was laughed at, bantered, and I'm curious to see if there are any Liverpool fans that want to come in and see, okay, guys, you're going to banter us, are you? Because Liverpool, and I titled this "We Didn't Lose" because I actually want to be a bit positive in this, because I know we didn't play great in the second half and we just parked the bus. But I want to be positive from this post-match reaction simply because of the fact that people genuinely believed that we were going to lose. It was going to be a massacre. It was going to be 4-0. And we didn't. And in fact, had Ollie been a bit more positive, we probably could have won this game potentially. And I wanted to talk about Ollie's tactics, but of course, a key things to discuss really, come to comments section, are the few key instances one can understand. The first and foremost, the build up to the goal. Obviously, the controversy seems to be around VAR. Now, I haven't rewatched the clip, but the incidents that Lindelof supposedly clipped Origi, I think it was, and then they went on to the break and Rashford to score. Looking at it, you could argue it could have been given or not. Frankly, to be honest, if VAR wasn't there, it might have also not been given. So I don't think VAR in that instance is in the wrong. I think that yes, it could have been given, maybe it should have been, but I don't think you can blame VAR because considering the amount of modes of play that were left to play, after scoring, I think it's a bit harsh to say it's VAR issue. Anyway, I still think the goal should stand. Mane's goal, which was the second contentious thing, that obviously was a handball, shouldn't have stood. So I think from that controversy point of view, people in the comments might think differently. Let me know if you think that. Should Rashford's goal have stood? Let me know. But from my point of view, I think it should have. I think it was fine. Just reading some comments. Lindelof need out Twansibi in. I think Twansibi. It's interesting. It's interesting because Twansibi was obviously due to play, and then Twansibi got injured. So I'm curious to see because looking at the formation, a part of me feels that Twansibi was meant to probably play maybe as a DM in the midfield, or maybe Ole was going to put 5 at the back. I don't know. But Twansibi being injured, Marcus Rojo ended up obviously playing. I don't know whether maybe he thought that Twansibi could play maybe right back, left back possibly. I'm not sure. But it'd be interesting to see what Twansibi's position when they played, had he not been injured in the warm-up. And we're going to talk about that again because I'm getting a bit tired of this injury crisis at United. It's like we're always in an injury crisis. most teams, they get a few injuries, they come out. It's almost like every single week we have an injury crisis, injury issue, injury issue. Pogba's out, Shaw's not playing, Twansibi's now injured. Injury after injury. Something is wrong and that needs to change. Mendes mentioned, what the fuck did Lindelof do? Ill United, live a joke. Fan said we're going to beat United 3-4-0. Sit down. You'll never not win Old Trafford. Exactly. This is the thing. Almost every, and I emphasize this point because almost every person I spoke to about this was pretty much saying, Liverpool going to batter United. No. You tell them evidence. Like, when was the last time they came and battered United at home? Oh, but this is the weak team. Arsenal. You even saw Arsenal fans coming in saying, oh, yes, Arsenal are going to go and batter United. They didn't. Now, whether that's because... Now, the only thing you say about this, which I think is important to mention, is that a point against Liverpool is fine. A point against Arsenal at home is fine. Not ideal, but fine. But why can't we get more than that against the smaller teams? I don't care if we drop points against Liverpool or Arsenal, even at home, if it's a draw. But why can't we, when Crystal Palace come to Old Trafford, why can't we beat them there? Do you know what I mean? Why can't when smaller teams in the lower part of the league, why can't, when they come to Old Trafford or even we go away, why can't we get something from those games? That's why we're in the position where we are. We're not in the position where we are because we dropped points at home to Liverpool, or even dropped home points to Arsenal. We're where we are because we can't beat Crystal Palace at home. And on this performance, it's really difficult to say whether there'll be an improvement. I mean, does this, and we'll come on to, I guess, maybe this later, but do you think that does this result by Solskjaer time? United are still 13th in the table. If we'd won this game, we could have gone to 7th, only 5 points from 4th. We've now got 10 points, and we're 7 points away from 4th place, and we're 2 points, I think, from the relegation zone. I'm just watching all the pundits. I think Jose Mourinho's on Sky Sports, as well as Gary Neville and Roy Keane. And basically what they're saying is that United need another striker, and United's best shot, basically, at football, Champions League football, is the Europa League. But what do? Do you say, right, the best thing to do is to actually play your best players in the Europa League to give yourself a chance to win the Europa League? I don't think we're going to win the Europa League with the certain tactics that we're playing. So there we go. United Boy 99, good to see you back again. Appreciated the support. Because we're high on our name and history, we think we're going to verse Newcastle and get an easy win. That's the completely wrong mindset to go into a game. The players do. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it could be that, but that also comes from the top down as well, I think. That comes from the fans, maybe being a bit too optimistic. But I think that also comes from us top down. That's management. The manager. Okay, that's the manager's job. It's the coach's job. Their role is to say, hang on for a second. This is a final. Okay? Treat every game up until the end of the season as a final. Okay? That's what you should do. That's how things should go. If players are coming into a game just think it's going to be a walkover, what evidence is there really? The table doesn't lie. United are currently the 13th best team in the Premier League. So there's no real, if I'm Ollie, I'm looking at them going, hang on a minute, there's no real evidence to suggest that Manchester United can easily beat teams when they're 13th in the table. What's the evidence for that? Understandably, it was reasonable for people to think that Liverpool were going to win this game having been unbeaten. Yeah, I mean, look, I've got the table in front of me now. Manchester United have got 10 points. In our last 5 games, this is our record. We've only won once in our last 5 games, lost 2 and drawn 2. That's our form. 10 points in 9 games, which is an average of a point basically a game. You have teams like Crystal Palace, Spurs, who are bad anyway, Burnley, Bournemouth, West Ham, and Aston Villa and Wolves that are ahead of Manchester United with Everton on the same number of points. Now, I suspect that Manchester United will finish slightly higher than that. I suspect that we should finish ahead of Wolves and Villa and West Ham, and definitely Burnley. But is that good enough? Is that good enough? Let me know what you think. Memphis is saying, I'm fucking ready for Bin Slam takeover. We would be spending £500 million every transfer with financial fair play doing nothing. Well, I don't know if there's any truth into those rumours, to be honest. But I would argue it's also not about money. It's also about decision making. It's very much about actually the coach, and we know from a shadow of a doubt that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer allowed Romelu Lukaku, he allowed Sanchez, he allowed Fellaini. I'm not sure about Herrera, but he allowed those players to go. Okay, for me, and I keep on going back to this, I keep on saying this over and over and over again. Had we kept Lukaku in the squad, at the very least against the small teams like Southampton, like Wolves, we probably would have picked up points, and we probably would have been in a better situation than we are today currently. Right. So, sorry, just keep on posting. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Like the video if you can. Really, really appreciate everyone getting involved. We'll try and have a lengthy stream, have a discussion stream. Like I said, I didn't watch the full game, predominantly because I was at work, so I didn't have the opportunity. But from what I can gather, again, and this is where we look at the tactics of this, is that why is it, and let me know in the comments what you think, why is it that this is the fourth game in a row where we have, fourth game out of 9. This has happened against Wolves, this happened against Southampton, this happened against Arsenal, where we go a goal up, just like Mourinho, we go a goal up, and then in the second half remaining for whatever, we just allow teams to come at us. I just don't understand. It's just like, I know Martial, for example, was injured, but if I was Ollie with a 1-0 advantage with maybe 20 minutes to go, 70 minutes, bring on Anthony Martial. We've got 70 minutes. Yes, Liverpool got possession, but let's bring on Martial. Let's push. Let's do something. But the fear, because it can only be this, the fear of losing, maybe, I don't know, the fear of losing, the fear of saying, right, you know what, we need to defend what we have. So the entire second half, it seemed that it was like, we know what, we're happy with a draw. Let's just defend what we have, and we concede, that's fine, whatever. Sir Alex Ferguson wouldn't have done that. You go on 1-0, you get that second goal, we're safe. We get that second goal against Southampton, we're safe. We get that second goal against Wolves, we're safe. We get that second goal against Arsenal, we're safe. We didn't seem to do that. We don't seem to want to do that. We give the other team the ball, allow them possession. Liverpool seems to have a predominant amount of possession in the second half, knocking on the door, and eventually, with the defenders that we have, that haven't kept a clean sheet, I can recall, since probably the first game of the season, we conceded because we have Marcus Rojo and Ashley Young, who are banter defenders. What did people expect? I expected we were going to concede a goal as soon as Young and Rojo were in the team. I expected that. That's not a surprise to me. United, Martial need to get 20 minutes in the game. Of course. I looked at the substitution. I was like, so you mean you're telling me that you're bringing on Anthony Martial, and you're bringing on Williams, but okay, who I think, to be honest, should have been at left back. Personally, I think you should have had Wan-Bissaka and Williams at left back, and then then you have Maguire and Lindelof as your centre backs. That's what it should have been. That's for me. That's how we should have set up. Williams should have been a left back instead of, yes, he's young, but from what I've seen of Williams, I think he's actually not bad. I would have rather him than Ashley Young from that point of view. But that didn't happen. What happened? We played Young, we played Rojo, and there we go. Martial needed more time to make an impact. I don't see the point in him. If you're saying he's fit to at least be on the bench, why did you allow, come on, the last 6 minutes when we concede, why? When? To do what? What impact is it? This is another thing that this is trend of social now, making substitutions late. We made no substitutions until the 84th minute. Why? Is that because of a lack of depth? Is that because of Ollie's trust? Why do we take until the 84th, 85th minute to make our first substitution? Another midfielder, maybe? Why? United boy, we played well up until around 60 minutes. After that, we let Liverpool come at us more. Exactly, because that's tactical, isn't it? That's because we wanted to hold on to what we had. That's the reality. And in that situation, at 60 minutes, you say, right, okay, we're going to do that. We make a substitution. We bring on another midfielder, a Gomez, a Gunnar, whatever, I don't know. Or you say, right, okay, what we need to do, we need to go out and we need to push for a second goal. And so we're going to do that by bringing on Anthony Martial. LA 1990 boys true. Yeah, I just don't get it. I just think that for the way I sort of see it is that if this was why do we sack Jose Mourinho? Why do we sack Jose Mourinho? There was no point in sacking Jose Mourinho if we were going to essentially hire a manager who basically plays like Jose Mourinho but worse, because he's not got the experience. He's not making, because at least Jose Mourinho, to be fair, even though he played not the best, at least what Jose Mourinho did was that at least he would make substitutions. He wouldn't wait. He didn't delay. That was the thing that he did consistently. He didn't have the squad there. He didn't have the squad, but at least he was like, right, okay, it's not going for us. We need to get a point. Bring this person on. Bring this person on. Ollie does not seem to do this, and I don't know why. Jamie, good to see you, Jamie. James Filipino. All that hard work gone in one super defensive mistake from Young and Rojo. Well, it's as soon as, as I said before, let's be fair. As soon as you see Young and Rojo in a squad, I automatically think we're going to concede. There'll be a defensive error. We held out for 84 minutes without not being true, but eventually that was going to be true. Okay, because if you have Young and Rojo in your team, that you'll guarantee to concede at least one goal, maybe two. Simple as that. Twansini being injured was a blow, and I'm going to talk about that soon-ish. That why do we seem to have this injury problem? Italy United, we need to buy in January mid and winger, but what's the chance of us buying? What's the chances of Manchester United buying a midfield and a winger? We need a forward as well. We need two midfielders, we need a right winger, and we need a forward. Minimum. That's what we need. In the January transfer window, we definitely need a midfielder. We definitely need a forward. But we don't get that. We should get Emre Can in United boy. We should get Emre Can in January if we can get him for the room of 30 million sum. Would I like Emre Can? How old is he now? Is he better than what we have? I'm not sure. To be honest, I didn't even think at Liverpool he was that great. He was all right, but he was more of a going forward type of sort of. I feel like we need, if there's two midfielders that we need to get, it's that we need to get an actually holding midfielder. 25, okay, fair enough, okay. I thought we need to get a holding midfielder, which Emre Can is not, I think. But we also need to get, say, like an attacking or creative midfield player. Someone to price of Pogba. But Emre Can is possibly a shout. Maybe a lot of people won't like him because it goes from Liverpool to United. But I agree. But we need our midfielder. We need available midfielder. United, no Emre Can. I don't want him. He's 20. 25 is fine. It's prime age for a midfielder, I think. But the question, I guess, the thing about January is that January is really what I would call, and we'll be doing a lot of transfer videos, obviously, leading up to the January transfer window, certainly starting from November, December time, so essentially next month. But the issue with the January transfer window is that January transfer window is basically what I would call almost panic season, panic transfer season. So you use the January transfer window to reinforce your squad, because unless you're going to pay extortionate rates like we did for Sanchez, you're not going to get a lot of quality in the January transfer window because a lot of teams do not want to allow their players to leave midway through the season. So if you buy, a lot of players buy, it's often panicking or it's often to fill in acute shortages. So right now, the fact of the matter is United have multiple acute shortages. But what they need, I would say, if we're talking what's United's priority, what is the priority for Manchester United right now? What do they need to at least try and compete for top 4? They need a forward because we're not scoring goals. We're not scoring enough goals. We are averaging less than a goal a game. We are not scoring goals. So for me, a forward is the priority because we are not scoring goals or any goals. We're not. So that is priority number 1. Priority number 2, just under that of a forward, is we need a midfielder. Central midfielder, maybe a defensive midfielder. At very least, if we get a defensive midfielder and Pogba comes out fit, Pogba and Pereira or Pogba and McTominay can go up a bit forward and intervene, or Fred even go up further. That's fine. Jamie Pereira, Fred, and McTominay played well today. Pereira's class today centrally. He needs to play in the CM spot from now on. He's not a winger. Yeah, absolutely. Again, this seems to be, or I don't know if it's because of injuries or whatever, but it's because we don't have a right winger. Lingard, I don't know where Lingard is. Lingard injured? Where's Jesse Lingard? But Jesse Lingard, we don't have a right winger. We don't. Jesse Lingard for me is not a right winger either. For me, he plays better centrally. Mata is not a winger, but he plays on the right. He plays better centrally. Pereira, as you said, plays better centrally. We don't actually have an actual right winger. Pepe would have been a right winger, but we decided we don't need him. This philosophy at Manchester United where, 10 people watching. If you're watching, please like the vid, like the vid. Really, really appreciate it. If you like the vid, share and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Really appreciate it. But yeah, the reality is that we don't have a right winger. And for some strange reason, United seem to be in this as a club, and this is, I guess, goes higher in the board, and this is where you guys can do your board rants, is that for some reason we seem to be quite content in making players fit into positions. So logically, like Man City do, like Liverpool do, they go, wow, okay, we need a defender. I'm going to go out and buy a centre back. We need a right back. Right, I'm going to go out and buy a right back. What United seem to do is, just to save money, what we'll do is we'll convert a winger like Ashley Young and we'll make him a left back. We won't go out and buy an actual left back. We'll go and convert someone and make him a left back. We'll do Pereira, who plays central as a CM. Lingard. Their positions. What we'll do is we'll just convert them to right wingers, to positions that we need. That's wrong. Why is it that we seem to be so cheap that we cannot, for some reason, we can't buy players that play in the proper positions. Even in our midfield with Fred and Pereira and even McTominay and Pogba, none of those players, I would argue, are defensive midfield players. We're just converting them into that. It's frustrating. And I think something needs to be done about that, personally. But that's just me. Just quickly looking at your comments. Let's have a quick look. Lingard is injured in United. Lingard is injured. Okay, yes. I mean, it's not that he's done a lot, but Lingard is injured supposedly. Fair enough. Let me know what you think, guys. But the debate will rage, but the question has to be asked: Ollie in or Ollie out? Because we're now 9 games into the season. Mourinho in this position was sacked. maybe not 9 games in, but with where Mourinho was being sacked. And to be fair, he was probably sacked because of the negativity around Ollie's at least trying to be positive. But if we just strictly look at results, we look at performances, by definition, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be sacked. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Post video in. Do you think that a draw at home to Liverpool is good enough? I had a feeling, had we been battered today, which I didn't think we would have been, he probably would have been. It might have gone, but is 1-1 enough? Do we have to be patient? Do we see what he does? Do we wait and see if he gets transfers? I agree, of course. Maguire, Daniel James, who played well today, and Wan-Bissaka have been good. Concede, when he's coming for you, has been good. So you can argue that Solskjaer's the players he's brought in and ones that are promoted have been solid. But is that enough when tactically he doesn't seem to be good, particularly? Jamie, did you like 5-3-2 today? 5-3-2 at home, not particularly. If I'm honest, 5-3-2 at home, not ideal. At home, I always prefer. I always prefer. I think United. I think Solskjaer's formation of 4-3-3 for me has been the best in terms of how he performed in the first 3 months. That worked. 4-2-3-1 just doesn't work. But 5-3-2. We'll see. I guess we'll see. But I just think that to play that at home, to be so defensive, I don't know. I don't know, Jamie. I really don't. But this seems to be where we are with Manchester United. United boy 99 again. I remember all the transfer windows. Fergie didn't get the central midfielder he wanted. Snyder needs to play Rooney in a more CM role. Yeah, you're right. And the thing is, the reality is, as we look back at it, if you actually look back at the last couple of years of Sir Alex Ferguson's reign, how many marquee signings did we really get? Manchester United in the last 2 years, Fergie did a wonderful job at winning the title in his last season. But how many marquee signings in the last 2 or 3 seasons did he get? You think about the fact that we sold Ronaldo for 80-something million. 90, was it 80 million? I think, yeah, 80 million, 89 million, whatever. Out of that money, out of the investment, did we actually improve with the squad? I think we got Nani. We thought might be okay. Outside of that, did we reinvest? Fergie didn't actually get as much investment as people think. And when we look at the squad he had and he handed over to David Moyes, it was threadbare. It was weak. It was nothing, and it only needed a weak manager for it to fall apart. And that's on the board. So yeah, chronic underinvestment, and that's been going on for years now. Jamie Villapano, 5-3-2. Jamie, I think 5-3-2 worked today against Liverpool. Definitely worked in the first half going forward. And switched to 3-5-2 as went forward. I like that. 5-3-2 today against attacking team. Fair enough. Like I said, I didn't watch the full game. So if you watched it fully, and you thought it worked, then maybe that is a way for us to go forward. It just seems quite defensive at home, I think. But if it works, it works, and we need to try something different. But we'll see, because I certainly think that certainly if we're ahead and we want to conceal or so we want to finish the game off, we need to maybe switch to more attacking formation maybe later on. I don't know. 5-2 just wouldn't work against Newcastle. Of course, it wouldn't. Neither do I think would 4-2-3-1 against Newcastle Southampton by playing 2 holding midfielders. It works against clubs like Liverpool and City. And yeah, I think we'll probably play that against City when we meet them again. And probably against Spurs again as well. We'll see. Liverpool, I think, Spurs have to go to, I think, Liverpool. I don't know. Let me know what's our next game. What's our next fixture? I think we must be away. I'm hoping away to Norwich. That's it. We're away to Norwich, which should be okay. Well, we've got a Europa League game coming up this week against Partizan Belgrade, which is fine. But Norwich, we have away to Norwich is the last next Premier League game, and then we have Chelsea in the EFL Cup, which will be difficult, and then away to Bournemouth. So the next couple of games will be okay. I think we're probably going to get beaten by Chelsea away, or we'll see. But yeah, Partizan Belgrade, Europa League, we'll be covering that on Thursday, and Norwich away. Well, Norwich's form, you'd expect that United should win. That would be the theory. You'd expect it, but if Norwich do beat us away, well then there you go. It's standard Manchester United once again. So yeah, we will see. You know, we will definitely see, but I don't know. It's you leave this 1-1 thinking what should happen, what should we do? Because if we want to salvage this season, if we want to push for a 4th spot, do you sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now, or do we say, which I think Mourinho was actually saying, which is, you know what, this season's probably going to be a write-off. It's going to be difficult for us to get top 4. Let's be frank. It'll be difficult for us to even finish 7th, let alone 4th. Do we just put all our eggs in one basket, and if we want to get Champions League football, we just push on and try and get win the Europa League, and hope that big teams don't drop into the Europa League? And by big teams, funny enough, I mean Spurs and Real Madrid, who've got a big risk of dropping into the Europa League, to be honest, especially Real Madrid if you see them recently play. But yeah, 1-1. We'll probably wrap it up in a second. Probably wrap it up in the next few minutes or so. But 1-1. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 1. Post-match reaction. All I can really say from the positive point of view is that we didn't lose, and that's what the title says. We didn't lose. I just think that Jamie was just saying, I'm so gutted when lallana scored. Thinking if we'd won, it would have been a huge confidence boost. And this is the problem, unfortunately, is that these results, these things, these constant conceding late goals because of poor defending or poor gamesmanship, I think, from Ollie personally. I think... Just someone explain to me in the comments before we head out. Why does he take so long to make substitutions? Why? Why does he take so long? I don't understand it, guys. I really, really don't. He shouldn't. Why does he take... why does it take until the 84th minute when your players are probably tired, when they're injury prone, frankly, and when despite all this fitness training that we're doing, this fitness training that we've been doing, we did in pre-season, I don't see the fruit of it. We're slow, we don't press, so I don't get the point of this training, because whatever is training isn't doing good. And on this last point, before I close, on this last point, guys, this injury crisis thing, and I end here, this injury crisis thing, so I don't know whether it's the medical team, and I'm doctor myself, but is it the medical team? Is it the physios? Is it the training regime? I don't know, but something has to change, because we seem to be in an injury crisis over and over and over again. Injury after injury, constantly being injured. And it's not right. It's not right, guys. Going into this game, Twancibi warm-up, gets injured. Pogba's still unavailable. Shaw's unavailable. Lingard's unavailable. Key players are unavailable for whatever reason, but every reason, because they can't, because of injuries. And this has been a problem since probably the beginning of the year. After just around about Champions League, PSG sort of time, blighted with injuries. I don't understand it. It's not right, and something is from that, because we not only do not have the depth in our squad, but then to have a shallowed squad with injuries on top of that isn't good. And I think something needs to change from that. Something really, really needs to change. Rasmus A, hello, good to see you. I'm interested in what your thoughts on the game were. We'll be wrapping up in the next two minutes or so probably get your comments in fast, Rasmus A. But yeah, the injury situation is a big problem, I think, and we need to resolve it. somehow. We really, really do. Because, you look at Martial. It's been 9 games in the season now, and Martial's only played in 2 of them, and 5 minutes in this one. When we needed him, when we needed him, he's not been there. Pogba is approaching that as well with the amount of games he's played, and the games he has played, he's not played the best of his ability. Wan-Bissaka is back, but because he's our essentially only decent right back, our over reliance on him, Dalot seems to have sort of disappeared. But so over reliance on him is not good either. Rasmus A. Absolutely disgusted by how Young and Rojo should have been ruined a 1-0 win. It's like a saying, and fast forward back, like the vid, guys, like the vid, appreciate it. 7 people watching, we need 7 likes. But it's like I've been saying, we could have handled the Scousers, their first loss of the win, and that would have been sweet. Of course, it would have been. It would have been amazing. It would have been great. But as I keep on saying, when you have Ashley Young and Marcus Rojo in your defence, then expect to concede goals. I expected from this game. This is why I've just got mixed feelings, because I expected a draw. I expected the draw. That's what I expected. It's what I didn't expect Liverpool to beat us, unlike a lot of other pundits and fans in the BBC, because they haven't beaten us at Old Trafford since 2014, and only once in about 10 years. So I didn't expect that from the psychology. I didn't expect them to do anything at all. What I expected is, when we have a shoddy midfield, when we have a lot of injuries, just like last season, we'll either draw or concede. That's what was going to happen, and that's what happened. Jamie, Lindelof was shaky today. As far as I'm concerned, Axel Lindelof has been decent, been okay. But for me, if Twansibi is fit, I've always said I'd watch us play 4-3-3. That's what I feel like we should play. I would rather have Maguire and Twansibi in that defence. Lindelof, Twansibi is showing, I think, especially with the height, because I think that at least Twansibi is better in the air, than Lindelof. I think he saves a bit. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not saying Lindelof is trash. He's certainly better than the other defenders in Phil Jones and Smalling and Rojo. But Twansibi for me goes ahead of Lindelof. You play Wan-Bissaka, you play Shaw when he's fit, you play Twansibi and Maguire, and then you play a midfield or whatever, which speaks itself. Fred, McTominay, and Pereira seem to do a good enough job. 8 people watching, appreciate it. Fred, Pereira, McTominay actually had an okay game in midfield, but our lack once again of a forward play. I would have loved Martial played. I was really counting on Anthony Martial playing for at least a good 20-25 minutes, and he didn't, and that didn't help. Just reading some of the comments. Twansibi didn't love out. Jamie Villapono, he missed some headers again today. He relaxed in the air. From an aerial threat point of view, Rasmus, and talking about Twansibi, I'm so sick of these muscular injuries. We need a new medical team, and also need to check the training regime of Ollie. This is what I was saying about 5 minutes back, Rasmus A. In that I don't really know what's going on with this injury problem in United, because it's been going on since the beginning of this year, and probably slightly earlier than that. We've been having an injury problem. Rojo, Jones. I'm just trying to think of a player that hasn't been injured. I'm trying to think. The only player that I know that hasn't been injured, that's played consistently, is actually Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay is the only player that I know. Scott McTominay, Maguire, obviously from the start, fine. That's it, because obviously De Gea, although to be fair, De Gea came back, so fair play to De Gea. So I say maybe De Gea and that. But if we're talking about outfield players, only Maguire and Scott McTominay are the only two players that have seemed to have avoided injuries from, and Scott McTominay from the beginning of this year. He's the only one that I can think of, if I'm honest, because Fred hasn't played that consistently, and same thing with Pereira, not that consistently enough, and Pereira has been out for a bit. But Scott McTominay, McSauce, as James called him, is the only player in the Manchester United squad that I know of, and maybe that's why he's playing. Because we say McTominay isn't good enough, but maybe the reason why McTominay is playing is because McTominay is the least likely one to get injured. They trust him to play because he's not likely to get injured. Because everyone else that I've not mentioned, Martial's been out injured, Pogba's out injured, Lingard's been out injured. I guess Lindelof has been out injured. Fair play to Lindelof. Not really. But most of the other Manchester squad have been out injured in some form or fashion. And something on that point has to change, because if it's the regime, if it's Ollie working the players too hard, well, guys, I don't see it. I don't see us pressing more. I don't see us working more. I don't see us not being as tired. So I don't really get, if it's Ollie in his regime, it's only harming the players because I don't see the benefit on the field. And if it's the medical physio team, then they need changing basically because it's not good enough. Marshall isn't match fit yet. Then he shouldn't have been on the bench, to be honest. If he wasn't match fit, he shouldn't have been on the bench. And he should have put on maybe Greenwood earlier or something. I don't know. It was a waste to put Martial on the bench for him only to play 5 minutes. If Greenwood was match fit, put Greenwood on or to do something. I don't know. That's tactical now from Ollie, and I'm tired of this constant. We're only gonna make a reaction with only 5. What is Greenwood? What is Martial? What any of those players gonna do in about 5 minutes when you've played the same 11? Who are probably by 80-something minutes are tired, you played them. Even for me, for left-back point of view, does that goal go in if Ollie says, right, Ashley Young is 34, and playing 80-something minutes. Why don't you take Ashley Young off after 60 minutes because he can't play for that long? He's 34, approaching 35, and you bring in Williams on to play left back. We still could have conceded, but you've got fresh legs, someone who can push in it back. Because this is, oh man, I won't continue ranting, but I just want to make this sort of point: is that if people remember the Leicester game, and I think it was predominantly the Leicester game, from what I remember, is that Ollie, and this is how we actually held on to win. Because it was the same thing at Leicester. We got a goal, 1-0, we beat them at home. How do we beat Leicester City at home? What happened? Ollie made 2 substitutions at the right time. He brought Fred on and he brought Chong on the right. What happened? We pushed, because Leicester were on us, we pushed Leicester City back. With Chong running at them, with Fred going a bit forward, we pushed them back. If Solskjaer makes that same change, he says, right, Daniel James, come on for Ashley Young, gone. We put on maybe Chong on the right, fresh pair of legs. We put on Martial. Suddenly, you're pushing them back. Suddenly, those fullbacks have to come back because they've got fresh legs on who can do the business. We didn't. And we allowed Liverpool, after 60 minutes, as a lot of people have mentioned, to come on to us because we didn't make, in my opinion, important and tactical substitutions. Jamie Van Pone, maybe it's too much fitness in training and not enough recovery as well, with everyone being overplayed due to not having enough squad depth. I think that's absolutely true. But I think that's true. But that also comes from the manager, because why is he not rotating? Because we don't have the depth. So, for example, Rashford is the key example for me. Marcus Rashford is exhausted. Marcus Rashford has played almost every game. You play him in the Europa League games. You play him in the EFL games. You play him in the league games. And then he goes to England and he plays again as well. And he comes back and he's playing. And he's not been great. Okay, he scored a goal, but he's not been great. And what you then do, is you have Greenwood. Okay, Martial's injured. Problem. You have Mason Greenwood. Yes, we shouldn't rely on Greenwood, but you need to give him the opportunity. There's no point in saying you're going to promote youth. We have those injuries. You have to rest players. We don't have no option because you, the manager, decided that you wanted to let Lukaku go. That was your decision as the manager. You let Lukaku go. You let him leave, but you wanted Pogba to stay. That's on the manager. So you did that. So you wanted Greenwood to develop, but you're not playing Greenwood. That's on the manager. And these are the things that are frustrating me, unfortunately, about Ollie. They're very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. Rasmus A, it's so worrying that we can't seem to be able to score more than one goal, and even that is hard to come by. Yes, because we're averaging essentially less than a goal a game right now. We're averaging a point a game, and we're averaging just less than a goal a game. You know, we need a forward player. People are cussing Lukaku, and I'll repeat it till times come kill home. You don't let a player who scores anywhere between 15 to 24 goals a season in Lukaku, because he was that player, you don't let that player go and not replace him. That was stupid. I'm sorry, by Ollie. Very, very stupid, especially if he was going to rely on the likes of Rashford, Martial and Greenwood, who have never scored more than 15 goals in a season, ever. And who seem to be, certainly Martial, injury prone. Jamie, Rashford needs a break, man, or else he's going to be washed up by 28. I agree, but is he being given a break? No, this is a problem with management. Rasmus A, the problem with this Finn squad is that our best running into the Champions League is if we win the Europa League, so we can't rest our best in the Europa League. Exactly, and that's what, fun enough, that's what I think Mourinho and Keane was saying in the feedback, was that, yeah, this is the problem, unfortunately, is that you know, we can't rest our players. We need our players basically to compete in the Europa League. We need our best, and I think that's fine. But the only thing will be we'll get out of this group. I've got no doubt we'll get out of this group. We should get out of this group. If we don't get out of this group, then there's a problem. But we should get out of this Europa League group. The problem is when inevitably the teams from the Champions League drop into the Europa League and you get drawn against those teams. That's when there's will be a problem in probably the round of maybe 16 onwards, because a round of 32 isn't there in the Europa League, is there? I think there is a round of 32 or round of 16. I think it's round of 30. Is it round of 30 or round of 16? Someone to clarify that. But that will be that's where, yeah, I think there's round of 32. That's where the problem will be, you know, and certain teams dropping into the to the Europa League, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, I don't know what you think, guys. As I draw this post-match reaction to a close, like I said, it's what I expected. We didn't lose. That's literally my summary. We didn't lose. I didn't expect us to win. I expect us to draw, and we drew. Whether you think this is Ollie in or Ollie out is up to you, and let me know what you think in the comments, guys, once the video's over. But do I see an improvement? Not particularly. Do I see a vision? Not particularly. All we know is that this game has highlighted the issues that we know that United have had, in that we need a forward player. Ollie's tactics are not the best. And once again, 2 points dropped. Thanks for listening, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter. We are United. Exos are watching. Please continue to support the channel. It's very, very much appreciated as we continue to push on. Have a nice evening, guys, and cheers.